Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be looking at using custom fields within Sage 50 accounts. It should take around 15 to 20 minutes. My name's Laura and I'm a learning facilitator here at Sage, and I'm going to be hosting the webinar today. I have Michael on hand as well to answer any questions. So if you do have any questions, make sure you pop them in there just to keep them busy. So before we get started, just some housekeeping rules. So your mic will be muted automatically, but you'll see that there's a little question icon on the toolbar where you can submit any questions that you may have for Michael. So make sure that you do pop them in there. And as this is a quick learn session, it's more of a demonstration based, but I will be including the slides in the handout section. Just there are some links at the end which you might find useful. So if you do want to download those, make sure that you do that during the session. There's also a printer friendly version on there as well if you do want to make any notes. So today I'll be giving an introduction into using custom fields within your Sage 50 account software. Following that, I'll go through a demonstration within the program and I'll show you where you can customize these and what you might typically use them for. And then I'll also provide some useful links to guides on our help centre. So if you do want to further your knowledge around applying those to your documents, you could have a look at those as well there. And before we've finished, if there's any time, we'll get obviously those questions answered for you as well. So custom fields allow you to capture additional information beyond the standard fields provided by the software, giving an extra level of analysis. Field labels can be configured, making them more relevant to the needs of your business, and you can customize your data, apply a filter and search through your data, as well as run reports based on this information. We can send it to Excel. Custom fields are available in customers and suppliers, products and services. Custom fields are not available in this area if you are using the essentials level of the software. Invoices and quotations, projects, and sales orders and purchase orders. So that's just available if you're on the professional level of the software. So what I'll do now is I'll pop into my system and we can have a look at where you can where you can find the custom fields in the areas that you can have a look at them at and where you can customize them as well there. So we'll have a look at customers first. So we're already in there, but if you click on customers just on the left-hand side of your Sage screen there, we'll open up a customer record. So you can either do that by double clicking on the customer, or you can highlight it and just click edit along the top. That'll do the same thing. It'll open up that customer record. And if we click on defaults, just on the left-hand side there, it'll open up another window. And you can see here we've got custom fields. Within the customer fields on here, so these are set by default to analysis 1 to 6, and they can be renamed to something more specific for your company needs. So they can be used for anything such as recording information against the customer record or analysing the data in a specific way, such as the customer type perhaps, so are they trade or are they retail? This is where you would find it within the customer module there. So I'll run through a quick tour of the other areas that you might use custom fields in or where you can find them as well. So I'm going to close out of the customers. We have a look in quotations, just on the left-hand side there. And I'm just going to open up a quotation. Just going to double click on it. You can just highlight and click edit. It'll do the same thing. And this time, if we click on the order tab, you'll see in here, you've got custom fields. You've got 3 in this area, just in the bottom left-hand corner there. So it could be used for anything that you want to sort of customize that for. I'll close out with that. We'll have a look at our invoices and credits module. Again, just on the left-hand side, if you click on invoice and credits, and I'm just going to open up an invoice just by double clicking on it. And I'm going to click on order, just on the left-hand side. And again, you've got those 3 custom fields there. So it could be used for things like marketing questions, such as where did you hear about us? Was it online, word of mouth, etc. Out of there. Sales orders and purchase orders. So again, that's just if you're using the professional level of the software. But if I go into sales orders, and I'm just going to open up a sales order by double clicking on it, clicking on the order on the left-hand side, and you've got those 3 custom fields that you can use within sales orders. Goes out with there. We'll just have a look at purchase orders at the same time. So if I click on purchase orders on the left-hand side, double click on a purchase order, Click on order on the left-hand side and it just looks the same, just as your sales orders. You've got those 3 custom fields there as well. Close that. Suppliers. Click on my suppliers on the left-hand side. If I double click on a supplier, just to open up that record, this time we're clicking on defaults, just like we did with customers. And again, the same as customers, you've got 6 fields within the custom fields that you can use in suppliers there. That's that one. If you use CIS, subcontractors, you can also use it in there as well. So if I go to subcontractors, just double click on one of those, go to my defaults tab, and again, you've got those 6 analysis fields that you can customize in there. And we're going to our products and services. And I'm going to double click on one of my products, just to open that up. Now the web tab, that's not available if you're using the Essentials version of the software. So if you can't see that, it may be because you're on Essentials. It's available in standard and professional level of the software though. If I click on the web tab, you can see custom fields, that is category A to C in there, just along the bottom left-hand side. And if I close out with that one, and then the last one, projects. So I click on projects on the left-hand side, double click on a project just to open it. And this one is in the analysis field, just on the left-hand side there. And you've got 3 within your project records there to use as well. So I'll close out with that. We'll have a look at how you can change the name of, customize these as well, just so they're not all just the same as analysis on there. So if you click on settings at the very top of your Sage, and if you click on configuration, you'll get a message that will pop up just saying it's going to close all of the windows. I'm just going to say yes to that. It's just opened it on my other screen. If I drag that over, it opens your configuration editor on here. So if we click on, we've got tabs along the top. If we click on the one that says custom fields, you can see in here, you've got your customer record, supplier record, departments, quotations, sales orders and invoices, and purchase orders. So this is where you can change the name of these, the analysis, the names of these fields in here. For products, if we click on the products tab along the top, those are just separate. You've got those just within here, the custom fields for your products, and projects is separate as well. That's just under the products tab on there as well. So we'll have a look at changing one of the customer field ones on here. So I'm going to change my analysis one, and I want to change that to customer type. So if I highlight that, I'm just going to delete that out. This is limited to 10 characters. So if I try to type in customer type, it's not going to let me get any further on there. So it does need to be abbreviated. So if I put in cust type, and I'm going to click OK to that, just to close it. We go back to our customers on the left-hand side, and we'll just double click on a customer just to open it again. And I'm going to go to the defaults tab where those custom fields were. And you can see now my analysis one has been changed to cust type. So the rest of them have all just remained the same. I only renamed the first one, but I'm going to change this one and say this customer is a retail customer. And then I'm going to save that just to say that they're a retail customer on there, and then close it. You might have more than one customer. You might need to change quite a few of them. So you can highlight them to say, I know all these customers need to be retail customers, and I can click on batch changes at the top. If I click on batch changes, if you can't see batch changes, it might be, if I make my screen a bit smaller, because of the screen size on there, it bulks them all up. But if I click under new and edit, you'll see batch changes, and that'll become, if it's grayed out, it may be because you haven't got a few of them highlighted. So that's why that might be showing within there. But if I make my screen bigger on there, then I'm going to click on batch changes. It'll open up. You can see it hasn't got any customer details in. Some of the things you can change. So these are going to change all of these records for me. If I click on defaults down the side there on the left-hand side, and I want to change these all to retail. Oh, spot trade, retail. On there. I click save to that, it'll give me a message saying you've chosen to make changes to multiple records. So we know that it's changing multiple records, not just the one. I'm going to say yes to that and close it. Batch changes are not available on Essentials though, so it's not something you can do on the Essentials version of the software. I can see a question coming in from Dave there saying that he doesn't have that option on there, maybe because you're using Essentials. But one of the ways that you can do it, they're asking on there, can you import them? You can import them. So if I just clear that on there, I'll show you how you can import into those fields there. So the import templates, if you go to File at the very top left-hand corner, if you click on Import, get a message saying it's going to close all the other saved windows or open windows. Yes to that, it'll open up your data import. If you click where it says here, it'll give you all of those. Just make that bigger so you can see it. You've got all of your templates here. Now it's a customer one, so if I double click on the customer template, for importing data, and I'll just show you that on here. So this is the template that you would use to import data. The only mandatory field is this one, which is like a greeny blue color. So as long as you've got this one populated, you can import any of the data into these ones. You'll see here you've got analysis 1 to 3 showing on there, so you can import them. You might remember that there's actually 6 analysis fields on there. 4 to 6 are just at the end, so I'll show you where those are. So they're not alongside it. There is a reason for that as well, but if I scroll along to the end along here, you'll see analysis 4, 5 and 6 there, and they're not after one another back at the beginning here, just because just simply because of the field mappings in the background on there, telling Sage where to put the information when you do import the data. So you've already got department, VAT registration and MTD turnover in those figures. That's why they're at the end there, but you can import that data in there. So I'll just close out of those and I'll close that as well there. You can also add a column in. So if you've put that, you've got the different trade types on there. You might want to have a column in here to show that as well. You can show that by right-clicking on this bar along the top. You can add in or take away any of these columns in here. But if we scroll down to the bottom, you'll see we've got analysis 2, 3, 4, 5. Analysis 2 has already been changed to customer type in here as well. So if I click on that, it will give me a column in here as well, showing me which are retail, which are trade on there. You could also add a filter in as well. So if we click along the top here, you've got filter button just above your account. Click on filter. I'll just clear that out on there. And under join, if we say where, then tab along, and we want customer type. So I'm just going to hit C on my keyboard just till it takes me down to customer type. There it is there. And then I'm going to say is equal to, and I'm going to say retail. And I'm going to click apply to that on there and close. We can see we've got a filter apply because I've got 13 of my 42 records showing on there, and it'll just show my retail customers. So that filter, it's not case sensitive. You can see that I do have some uppercase R's, some lowercase R's as well. So it's not case sensitive on there. It just needs to be spelled correctly. It'll show all of those retail customers. If you wanted to, you could then send that, you could run a report for that on there. So if I click on reports just along the top right hand side there, open up my report window, I've already got my customer list in my favorites. So I'm just going to preview that just by clicking on the preview button. I'm just going to leave the criteria values as they are. Click OK to that. Just make this a bit bigger so you can see that. And then I've just got a list of my retail customers here. So maybe that I just need a list of those, and then you could run a report for that. Close out of that. And my reports window. You could send it to Excel as well if you wanted to. So if you didn't want to report, you just wanted on Excel, along just a bit further down from where it said reports, if you just click on send to Excel, I'll just show you that again because it was quite quick there. Come back into my program. So just send to Excel, just a bit further along from reports. I click on that, it'll only send that data there to Excel, and then you can manipulate that as you want to on there as well. So you've got it on an Excel spreadsheet. Close out of that. And there, we'll go back into my product as well. You could also run reports if we pop on another field on there as well. So if I go back into settings and configuration, I get that window just to say it's going to close any unsaved windows there. Pull that back across on there. You might want to show who is the account manager for specific customers. Say, so if I go back to custom fields, and I'll pop another one in here, and I'll put in, we need to abbreviate it because it won't fit in account manager. So I'm just going to say account man on there for account manager. And I'm just going to say OK to that to save it. I'll go back to customers on the left-hand side and say I want to highlight a couple of them. And I want to make a batch change on there and change all of those to George is now going to be the account manager. So I'll pop George's name in there and I'm going to save that. And you give it that message saying that we've chosen to make changes to multiple records. Do I want to save those? Yes, I do. And you might just want to make changes just to one of them. So it might just be one that you're needing to make a change for on there. And clear that just so we haven't got them highlighted. Again, we could pop in, if I right click on there, scroll down to the bottom again, you'll see now my analysis 2 has been changed. If I click on that, it'll give me another line on here. You can see who the account manager is. We've got George, Malcolm shown in there. We've got some without account managers on there. You can also click on it, the top, which will order them as well for you. So put them in order of account manager as well for you on there if you want to order them slightly differently. And again, you could also run a filter. So if I click on filter, and we've already got one in there saying customer type is equal to retail. I'm just going to change that and just say account manager. So if I hit A on there, it takes me straight to account manager, and I'm going to say George and apply. And again, I've just used a lowercase g, but it will pick them up on there and close. And now I do have a list of all of my the customers who the account manager is George for on there. And again, if he needed a list of that, you could click on reports just at the top right hand corner, customer list. You can obviously run other reports as well, but just for this demonstration, I'm just running the customer list. I'm just going to leave that criteria values the same. Click OK. And it'll give me a list of all my customers that George is the account manager for. And again, you could send that to Excel as we saw before as well. So I'll close out of those windows there. So I'll pop back to my slides. So as we've had a look at to rename the custom fields, you just need to access settings at the top of your Sage 50 account screen. And then you're going to click on configuration. And the custom fields to change the name of the field labels within customers, suppliers, quotations, sales orders, purchase orders, and departments. So these are all set by default to analysis either 1 to 3 or 1 to 6, just depending on the module. And to change your product and your project custom fields, those were under just a slightly different heading on there, just under products tab or project costing tab, just to be able to customize those. So as promised, I've included some useful links here as well, which include our help center, which is full of great articles, step-by-step guides as well around using Sage 50 accounts. It also includes a link on there on how to custom or use those custom fields and how to customize them as well, so how you'd like to use them. You can also access our upcoming webinars as well and sign up for them along with viewing our previous recordings on the Help Centre too. And I've also included a link to our Sage University there. Just you can enroll on courses and just be tested on your knowledge, which you'll also receive a digital badge for and can share it on things like LinkedIn. So you can access our webinars page at sage.co.uk/webinars. All the past recordings are on there. They're all free to view in here, along with signing up for our upcoming webinars. The link's on the slide there, but I'll pop back onto my screen and I'll just show you how to access that as well. So I'll just bring up just a Google page on there. And if I just type along the top there, sage.co.uk/webinars, click return to that. It'll take us to that page that was just on that slide there. At the top, you'll see you can access the Sage University from there as well. But then we've also got all of our webinars on here that you can access. Sage 50 accounts live webinars are just here. So all we're going to do is just click on that. It'll open up a new page for you on our Help Centre where all of our webinars are. So if we scroll down on here, you'll be able to see you can access our previous recordings just in there. And a bit further down, you can see the ones you can sign up for. So currently we're running a badge series of webinars for the Report Designer covering 7 topics. So these will run throughout September and October, and it's just to introduce you to the workings and functionality of the Report Designer for Sage 50 accounts. But if we scroll down a bit further as well, you'll see we've also got further quick learns in here. We've got bank feeds, co-pilots, bank payments and receipts. So there's loads of different ones to get signed up for there. So if you do have any further questions, I'll just keep this open just for a little bit longer, just to see if anything else comes through. Don't forget, if you do want to download a copy of today's slides, just to do that before the session ends, just they're not available once it does finish, and it does have those handy links on there as well. And when we're finishing answering those last few questions, I just want to let you know that Back by Popular Demand is our one-to-one bespoke training sessions. So these are block hour sessions, which are over Teams with one of our trainers, and they can provide you with training and answer your questions around how you want to use your software. So it might be that you want to make sure that you're getting the most out of it, or you may have new starters who you want to get up to speed using the software. But if it does sound like something that you'd find useful, if you just pop an email along just to the email address shown on the slide there, and what they'll do, they'll be back in touch with you. So it's just that email address, lsenablement1@365sage.net, and then somebody will get back in touch with you there. But that does bring us to the end of today's session around custom fields. So don't forget, you'll receive a survey when leaving today's session. So I'd love it if you could leave any feedback on there or comments around what else you'd like to see on a webinar perhaps. You will get a copy of today's recording in about an hour's time via email as well if you do want to revisit that. But I do hope today's quick learn has been helpful, and thank you for attending, and have a lovely rest of your day.